Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you liked the last episode. After, should be about halfway done. And hopefully after this one, then we'll be able to maybe start putting everything together and trying to get this room together and everything. But as always, if you like what I'm doing, please like and subscribe and leave comments and I'll get back to you. So let's get going. Next part is a working table that we're going to be doing, but they actually break this down into different sections of what you're going to be doing. So first part is the actual table itself. Give you these little dowels that they want you to cut at a certain length. So all I did was just put it to the measurement that they needed and then just use this to mark it. And then got a little bit stronger box knife just to push down on it to cut them. So I just did that for each of the 4 pieces and everything. Throw some glue in the hole. Get around the edges. Okay. That down. And you just want to make sure that they're straight. I know it's going to be kind of hard. Oops. I know it's going to be kind of hard the way it is. But as long as they're as straight as you can make them. Because they fit in pretty easily, so. Now we just kind of lift it up so it doesn't stick too much to the pad, and it's just make sure it's centered all the way around. So I'll just use some fabric on this, fabric glue on this one. And again, not too much. Don't need it all over the place. Just at least the corners. And then we'll just throw a little bit here in the middle, just to make sure it's gonna stick. And again, you can mark this to make sure it's level and everything, but I've usually been pretty good with eyeballing it. Sometimes. And I think it may want us to glue it to the side so it'll actually fold down. Just so it's not sitting straight out. So I'll just throw little beads. And once we get this done, then we'll put the legs on. So these will be going down into there. All right, so we're working on a little toolbox or tool case. So got all the pieces out. Throw a little bit right here on the edge. Just make sure it's straight. Go in here. I may not even glue it down. This thing's in here too. It ain't going anywhere. Okay. So make sure it's flat on the bottom. It's good on the sides. All right. Little craft box or something. So I'm sure there'll be some stuff we're going to be putting inside of it. Looks like our next step was to build, glue some like yardsticks together, and then do some like yarn threads or bundles on spools. And I already did some of them, but I wanted to go ahead and just show you how I do it. This was just a little leftover from the sticks that I cut, the dowels that I cut earlier, and these just came with it because I wanted to be a little thicker. So they give you a 4-color thread, and what I did was I just got it and got the halfway point, made sure it was even on both sides, and just cut it in half, just to make sure it was the same amount of thread I was putting on either spool. And then what I did is I just throw a little bit of glue on the initial, just on one little spot, just so the thread will kind of grab onto it. And then some fingers to just kind of hold it, and then I just start wrapping it around. I don't want to go all the way to the end. I'll leave a little bit of space. And then once it's in there, then I just kind of use my fingernails to hold the other end. And then we're just going to use as a guide so I don't go all the way on the end of that one, and then you just keep going. And if you need to slow down or whatever, that's fine. I mean, it don't have to be even all the way across, but it's now at the end. And then what I do is I just roll it. And then I just get a bit more glue and just glue the final piece down. And just hold it for a little bit. And then it's there. I got this little thread kind of sticking out, so I'll just go in and just kind of cut it, just so you don't see it or anything. But that's it though. It's like our next step is to put together a bouquet of flowers, which have everything else. And usually they always send you these little stamen, however you say it, that they color and everything, kind of put together or whatever. So for the greenage, just some green paper, some crepe paper, whatever. And then what you do is you just cut little like teeth or little grooves into it, and it doesn't really matter how you cut them. You're just going back and forth, and you can make them different lengths. Don't have to all be the same or anything like that, but you're just going back and forth. Okay, so there's one side. These three stamen, however you want to say it. Just gonna line them up right. Make sure they're equal. And then you're gonna put them in the paper right in the middle. Roll it it as tight as you can. It's gonna be kind of hard because the paper's really thin. As you can tell, I've never rolled cigarettes before, so. Okay, so I went ahead, this was a little long, so I went ahead and cut the paper down to where it's at. So you can always just get these and just kind of fold them back a little bit, just where you can see the flowers and everything. And do the same over here, just push them back and do that. So now it wants you to cut it in half. And I didn't get it as tight as what I'd like it to be, but it's close enough. So now it wants you to get some string and wrap around it, which I'm gonna leave a little bit open so I can kind of tie it, which actually, let me throw some glue on here. Try to pull it a little tight just so it's but you can always use the pliers to kind of push it in right there as well. And that, and I may just leave it like that and just maybe glue it, because I know I ain't gonna be able to do a shoehorn, or I'm not gonna be able to tie it like regularly, so I'm just gonna put some glue on it. Okay, I'll just leave those. I may do something with the strings, whatnot, and just do the same for this one. And again, I'll probably do something with the string or whatever, but so now we're gonna make some rolls of fabric that you usually see on the big rolls and everything. So it provides you with these little like dowels, mini dowels and everything, and you just cut the fabric to the size that it's asking for. And then you just put some glue on. And then you're just gonna roll it up. Just wanna make sure it's centered. Start rolling it. Main thing is just making sure that it comes out level when you're done. So now, glue this down, rid of the excess. Okay, there you go. I'll just get rid of the little strings that are hanging out. I'll just cut those out, but once it's glued down, you're good to go. So it's wanting me to do 6 more of these, so I won't do that on camera, because it's the same process. All right, so our next step is going to be to make a book, or how they always make books and for these miniature models. And as you can see, we got a little helper. I'm surprised she hasn't decided to come over earlier today and everything. So here's your pages of the book, and what you have to do is fold it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then we'll insert it inside the book. So you can either use some pliers to kind of bend the pages, or as long as you fold it right to the dotted line, that'll work as well. Once you get the pages straight, and then you just work your way around. Just go back and forth, and somebody's gonna leave. But you just go back and forth with it. So now you got your book, and this is your cover. And all I did was just some pliers where the spine is that I just bent it to get the shape and everything. So now what you want to do, make sure it's right side up. And throw some glue in. Just kind of tack, not too much. Just glue on either side. Side, and then you just put in your pages, make sure they're on the side. Put the pages in there, and then you just push it. And then if you wanted to get the little office clamp, you just tap the edge of the book. And just set that aside, and then it'll be dry, and then you can open it just like a regular book. Alright, so we're going to be making some flowers, just like we did before, just a little different, putting them in a pot. So I already got everything out. And hopefully this goes semi-okay. I hate doing these just because it's, I never do well with the paper and everything. So I got all the paper cut. They tell you the size to cut these little squares, so you just kind of come out. Same thing with the green paper, tell you the size, and I went ahead and cut the little blades of grass like I did before in the last one. And these more of the stamen, little flower buds or whatever that they have. So with these, they want you to fold it in half and push it up, which I'll show you on another one, but this one already did. So with it, put it up to the edge. Actually, I kind of put it right here, and then put some glue all around here, and then I get it, and then I roll it, and just kind of hold it for a few seconds to get the glue to dry. And there you go. You can always use some small pliers or whatever as you want it to about halfway down, and then fold the paper up because you want the paper to be right in the middle to make a bud, kind of like that. The last one I didn't do as well, get in the middle, but you want it kind of something like that. And then just place this in the middle, and then you're just gonna pretty much just wrap it around. So it's best to hold it like that, and then just stick some glue on this side, and then just wrap it around and get glue on you. Okay, so I got all this other stamen done. So now what we're going to do is fold these in half, different sizes. Shapes, however you want to do it. I'm just making like another little bouquet. Or bouquet. Depends how you want to say it. Together like so, just like that, and then you can kind of twist the bottoms if you want, twist them together. They may or may not stay, but then you're going to get the paper and do like we did before, where you get it and start rolling it up and everything. So where it's, just grab one end, and then you can just kind of turn it as you're going. Kind of makes it a little tight, everything. So, but as you can see, it's putting the grass in there and all that. And then just gonna try to glue in these little end pieces. Again, don't have to be perfect, but and then what you're doing is you're gonna be putting it down into here. So depending on the length, you may need to either cut it or twist it up so it fits in there, because it's really supposed to be only about, you know, about that high and everything. So since I already cut it, just cutting this excess off the bottom here. You know, spread them out a little bit more to get it to fit. Just getting these on the ends here, and then kind of like that, and then you can put some glue on the edges right here. And then put that right in there, and then if you happen to if it goes down further below the bottom, then you can just use some scissors and just cut this off so it'll lay flat. And then just let that dry. Let that dry as it is, so we'll just call it good. Okay, our next step is give us this little bottle right here, and it wants us to cut the twine into small little pieces to put inside of it. And then I just cut in really fine pieces. I don't want them too big, because then it'll end up fitting into the jar. Just gather them up. It's up to you on which size you want to, cut these down to, but it's just to have it filled with something, just to simulate something in it, and it comes with like a cork that you can put into it, so you can fill it as much as you want, or just leave it a little half full or whatever. So it's just up to you on what you want to do. Okay, everyone, so we're finally putting everything that we just built, or majority of stuff we just built, we're putting it out on the table. So, okay, so first thing is going to be our little craft cabinet here. Okay. Okay, so level with the back, because I have a feeling it's going up against the wall. And just a little off on either side here. It's a little hangover. Okay, so now we got a little mat right here. Little like cutting board or something. Now, okay, so that, and then we got some scissors here. Okay, so now we got some of these little measuring tools. sure these do not go anywhere. A bit there, a bit there, and then just touch right there. Just like that. Oops, that was too much, I think. But we want to make sure I don't move. Right there, and I'm gonna hold it until it sets because I'm pretty sure. Okay, well maybe not. Cork bottle. Put it. Put it right there, and then there's like a little glass bottle. Put it on the other side here. Okay, so just gonna show you everything here. So I'm gonna come up, and so there's the table. Got your book, got some scissors, got, I think it's a drinking glass maybe, I don't know. You got your flowers, your stopper jar, your roll of fabric, and then you got your kit here, your box. It's got your yarn, rolled up little yarn, your thread in it, and you got all your measuring tools and some scissors and a little cutting board probably underneath the book. But that's the table. So kind of took a little bit, but all of the smaller pieces always do take a while. So, and then once everything dries, you can go through and, you know, bend down the flowers or move them a little bit just to get them to look a little bit better. But I wouldn't do it right now because it's glue's still trying to hold and everything. But so not too bad though. So now we're going to be actually building a little cabinet that holds the rolls of thread or fabric and everything. So it's usually good to try to work with all the pieces before the glue really dries, so you can, in case you need to move something. Get it in there and angle it up. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Pretty much just angled it up to where it was right to the edge there. So okay, so I got the fabric put on. Didn't look like they were going to fit at first, but once I kind of worked with them a little bit, then I got them to fit, and I just put a little drop of glue on each side right there, and then I just got them on there. So, but that's how the fabric looks on there and everything. So, and then it also wants us to do this little little plant, I guess you can call it. But you start by just throwing some glue. Oops. Just throw some glue all around it. And then you got your little bag of greenage. Which right now, oh, there we go. And sometimes just tossing it on there works too. But you're just looking for just a little something with just some little greenage on top of it, like so. You can throw some extra on it, you know, press it down into the glue and everything. Just put that right there. There you go, there's your fabric rack with a little plant. So, fabric rack with a little plant on it. So we'll go and work our way to the next one and see what they got. All right, looks like the next thing we're making looks like a mirror. So I'd already went ahead and did this part. I didn't even actually glue it. It's just 3 pegs that you just inserted into the holes on both sides, and it was actually pretty tight. That you really didn't need to glue it or anything, but you're going to be gluing it to the bottom down here like this. So that's why I really didn't bother gluing the poles, the pegs in or anything. So. Alright. Just making sure it's even on both sides. So now we're going to be putting what they call a mirror. It's just a piece of metal that they put a film on. Yeah, you see the silver on the back, but on this side they decided to put a film on just to probably protect it so it wouldn't get scratched up or anything like that. Just make sure I don't put any around the opening because I don't want it to bleed through or anything like that. So I'd rather bleed on the outside corners. Oh yeah, nice and shiny. Okay. I'm gonna try to get it on there perfect because definitely don't want to have to do this again. And there you go, there's your mirror. Nice and shiny. Just want to make sure it's level or even on both sides, and then just push down on it. And I think I'll just let it sit there for a little bit and be good to go. All right, everybody. Looks like the next thing we're going to be building is a stool. So I went ahead and kind of somewhat put it together, but it's the same process as what we did with the mirror. Took the dowels and actually just stuck them in the holes of this first circle. They actually went in pretty snug, but not too bad. And then went ahead and just pushed them through the holes of this bigger circle, and I actually didn't glue them because it was like the dowels of the mirror where it stayed pretty tight, so I wasn't not worried about them coming out or anything. But just push them through the second circle, and then with this triangle piece, you just gotta work it to you just put one of the curved ends on one side because you're pushing all 3 of these out on the bottom. But you just put one on one side and put the other one on the other side, and then just slowly work your way down into the middle and just keep it level. And then all I did was just put some glue on the bottom of the 3 corners there, and it'll stay. It's not going to go anywhere. So, but just made a little stool like that. Then I wanted to do like a little fabric seat. So this little fabric cut like a 30 by 30 square, and then with the cardboard template, then I just put it in the middle and then just cut around it to make a circle. So now what we're going to do is just fold these ends on the back side and then just work our way all the way around. So you don't need much glue because it's with the fabric, it doesn't take a lot. So just work a little bit at a time. Start at one side, just kind of turn it, and then let it catch, because you're not too worried about the bottom part, because you're going to glue the bottom to this top of the seat and everything. So that's why I'm not too worried about what the bottom's going to look like. And no, I got it. Okay. But just kind of push it all down, and there you go. So, and then I'm just trying to get that down. There we go. So there's the top of the seat, because it's gonna be the part that's gonna be sticking. But so you just get it on there, let it fall, and then just press it down. And we got another visitor. Gonna have a fight here soon. And that's it. So there's your stool. Well, now we're gonna be working on a chair. A high chair, it looks like. So to start, we'll just do the fabric, do another little seat cushion. So just cut out a template, cut the fabric the size it needs, do an end. All right. Okay, so we got our seat. And then I'll just kind of set it aside right now. I won't put it on until we get everything else going. There we go. Okay, so stick that on there. That might have been a little too much, but there we go. Okay. Slide this right in here. Oh, these are way off. These are way off. So, just kind of trying to push this in just a little bit to straighten it out. Okay, this is gonna go. Doesn't really say exactly where to put it here, just somewhere, somewhere right here. So just what makes it look nice. Not too low to the bottom, or not too high. We're gonna be making that little decorative pieces that go inside the chair. that goes inside the chair's back right here. So what they did was these little toothpicks with a little decorative design at the top. So what they're wanting us to do, use this, measure the distance and then cut them off, and then we'll be placing them inside there. So it'll be kind of a see if it fits type thing. So with these, all I do is I'll start it with a X-Acto knife. I'll see if I can get it to cut. If not, I'll at least mark it. Because if you try to use a pair of pliers or something, you're just going to pinch it, and it's not going to look good or anything. So any type of the toothpicks or wood, use a box knife or X-Acto knife or something. But, oh, sorry, baby. So I woke somebody up. So that cut it off. I kind of broke a little bit in the back, so we'll put that in the back. So there's one, to see if these fit or not. So I'm just gonna So now I'm going to try to move this up a little bit. Okay. Move this over. There we go. So I got the little pieces in. I moved this bar up just a little bit just to get it to fit a little bit better, but you ain't really going to notice. Okay. See, push it down, hold. Okay, so there's her seat. Try to clean it up a little bit with the glue strings and everything, but so not too shabby. Looks like we're going to be doing an ironing board. So I got all the pieces out. Again, want us to do fabric in the over top of the template, the cardboard template. So I went ahead and just did that. It's the same process as what I did before for the other ones. Just I started at the end and then just worked on a corner, then did the sides, corner, did the sides, and then just went around the corner right there. So that's the way that looks. Okay, so for this one, I went to the paper inventory where it shows you the lines that you need to mark to put these little brackets on and everything. So I went ahead and put it next to it, drew the lines like we did before, and now I'm just gonna glue these on. Okay. So now we're gonna put this one in right on the bottom part of the line, get it as close as you can. Okay, and then get the second one in on top of the line. They don't really tell you. If you're supposed to be above the line or below the line, but looking at the picture, this is what it looks like. So there we go. With these legs, there's on the inventory sheet, there's lines that you can draw to know exactly where to line these up at to put them on. So it's a even thing. So it makes the board even. So I finally kind of figured it out. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue on the inside here so it'll stay together, and then put some glue down on the board for it to stay. A little bit there, a little bit there, over, yeah. And then that one down, and that one down, and then line them up. And then just make sure that they're straight. As long as the two lines that you have on each of them are close together, then it should make it straight. Completely coated or anything, but just little dabs. And put this on here. So with that, there's a little ironing board. There's our little ironing board and everything, so. All right, everyone, looks like our next step was to create some little yarn balls like these right here, which I already did, but I wanted to do the last one just to show you how I did it. So the kit came with these little beads of different colors, and I guess I wasn't supposed to use all of the yarn that it came with for those spools that I used them on, but luckily the wife has more to use, so that's where I pretty much got my reserves from to be able to do this. So if you're doing the yarn for the spools, just make sure that you don't use all of it like I did, because you're going to use it for this step as well. But if you need to go out and get more, that's totally fine. It doesn't have to be the exact same color or anything, but they just want you to use like the prime colors, you know, red, green, blue, and yellow. So anyway, so the beads have little holes that go through either side, and then I used just one of the toothpicks that it came with and just cut the tip off a little bit, just so when you stick through it, it doesn't show through the top. But to get it started, you want to feed the thread through the hole and then use the toothpick to jam it in there. And if it's too high, because you don't want it sticking out the top, it's too high, so then that's kind of your starting point to be able to wrap this up. So now, we are going to put a ton of glue on this bead, pretty much going all the way around and the top, because if you don't use glue, this thread is not going to stick to this bead at all. It's going to keep sliding off and everything, so glue is definitely the best thing to use for this. If I just start at the bottom, just kind of turn the toothpick, go all the way around, then go up to the next level, keep turning it till I get to the top, and then I just put some at the top, all the way around. But you're pretty much just wanting to cover it as much as you can for this thread to stick to it and everything. So now what I do is I just go over the top and then come back down, do that a couple times really slow, and I'll start turning it as I'm going, just straight up and down, but I'll just keep turning it a little bit, turning the toothpick, just so that the thread gets all the way around the bead, and so it attaches to that glue. But you just keep doing this until you feel comfortable that you've covered everything. You know, you got a good ball of yarn going and all that. So, I mean, there's no right way. I think the instruction book tells you like a certain distance or length to use for the yarn, but since I'm using the wife's yarn, then I can pretty much just use as much as I need. So, but I think we're just about done. Just want to just hit this side over here just a little bit more. That's how you can kind of tell that it's not sticking, as if the thread keeps pushing off on it. So I think I will go ahead and stop it right here. So then I'll just cut a little bit off, and then I will use some of the white glue. I'll go ahead and just roll the end up to a point, and then just throw some glue on it, and then hold it. Just kind of hold it there for a little bit till it dries. And if the strain isn't, you know, sticking out a little bit, that's fine too. I mean, that's how a normal ball yarn is and everything. So, but you're just not wanting to completely unravel or anything like that. And it looks like it did kind of come down a little bit, but that's okay. Like I said, it's fine. And then you just take it off the toothpick. And like I said, it did kind of come unraveled a little bit. Just kind of stick it back on there, and whoop. And there you go. But again, if it's a little loose or you know, sticking out a little bit, whatever, that's totally fine, because like I said, normal yarn balls are you know, not completely perfect or whatever when you're working with it and all that. So all right, so we're working on our baskets. I went ahead and kind of put them together. So all it is these were the baskets that we worked on earlier before. So we were just putting the thread rolls and some of the scrap pieces of fabric inside of it, and you can put it in however you want. It doesn't have to be a certain way or anything. So I just kind of folded some pieces up just to pack it up high enough so you can see the thread on top and everything. So just kind of did that. And then the same thing for this one. They just wanted you to put some thread and the fabric in that, whatever. So I just chose some of the other pieces that I didn't use in the other box and everything. So with that, I believe we have everything done to be able to put everything together to get this thing finished. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next episode.